Hi everyone, today I am here on the behalf of PCDA Consultancy. First of all, I would like to introduce my team. We have Alan Alex, Bill Manoj, Hemant, Srinivas, Vishnu and myself Yamna. We are doing research on the globalization problem faced by General Motors. To proceed more on this project, I would like to call Mr. Hemant. Thank you.
Thank you, Emna. Hi, this is Hemant. Now I am here to give you a brief explanation about General Motors. General Motors was the largest automobile manufacturer in the world. The company is based in United States, so it captured the US market and it's the number one automobile seller in the US market. General Motors captured market share rapidly in very short time. It employs more than 2 million people around the globe. General Motors had a very good sale record. It was the first company in the world which crosses the annual profit above $1 billion. General Motors provides vehicle accessories and parts with the brand name called GM Goodwrench and AC Delco. General Motors have manufacturing units in 31 countries and they provide sales and services in 157 countries around the globe. General Motors has led the market for many years and finally overruled by its major competitors like Toyota, Honda, Ford and many other companies. General Motors was pretty good in their sales and service before they lead to its eventual bankruptcy. Now let me explain the present position of the company. After entering the bankruptcy, the company came into a decline position. The company share declined to 39% and the net income reduced to 40%. So brand image and goodwill fades away slowly. Finally, the company entered into the bankruptcy. General Motors, the US share shrinks to 19.6% from 43.8%. With the bankruptcy, the company had closed down half of its brands. The company dealers withdraw out of 6,000 US dealers, 2,400 US dealers withdraw their dealerships. General Motors had closed down more than 14 plants around the globe. General Motors had reduced 19,500 of their staff. Now let me call my friend Bill Manoj. Will explain more about why this problem occurs.
Thank you, Hemant. Hello, I am Bill Manoj. I am here to discuss about the important problems that General Motors faces. Some of the key problems which we found in this research are centralized structure, economic influence, foreign competition, business strategy. Now let me explain more about the problems in a detailed way. Centralized structure. In this FIBDOM, the main operations of the General Motors are regarding planning, decision making and controlling is mainly operated by headquarters in United States. Lack of flexibility, delay in decisions, ineffective control, decrease in morale of employees, decrease in initiatives. Relating to the theory, Henry Fayol, in 1916, father of modern management, explained the centralized structure in the book Industrialized and General Information as centralized organizational structure rely on one individual to make decisions and provide directions for the company. Next we will discuss about the economic influence such as consumer spending, economic downturn, bankruptcy, skyrocketing fuel prices, cost of operation. According to the consumer spending behavior, General Motors is one of the largest contributing factors in consumer spending. The high rate of foreclosures and job losses in the United States, which begins reaching crisis level, and they reduce level of spending on luxurious items in car. Bankruptcy. General Motors best efforts to lower prices and offer buying incentive to customers. The reduction in sales provide too much for the automotive manufacturing company to bear. So this lead to bankruptcy. Skyrocketing fuel prices. One of the biggest concerns related to the day-to-day operations of General Motors was the increasingly erratic cost of fuel. Because GM is supplying fuel for the transportation of their vehicles and vehicle parts, high gas prices caused a significant reduction in General Motors profits. Not only the advertising and operation presents a temporary solution to GM's budget, resulting in reduction quality, reduction sales, and decline in GM stock. Cost of operations. The cost of operations also played a large part in the problem faced by General Motors. General Motors management was in instance with union representatives from United Auto Workers over high wages and benefit demands for its workers. Salary increases and the cost of benefits for the GM workers and the companies struggling to spend more money but it were not afforded. According to the Jim Beth, in his book Principles and Practices of Marketing 2006, economic environment is about the level of demand in economy. Most national economies follow the boom and bust economic cycle. Every 7 or 8 years, the economy goes down in recession. Now my friend Srinivas will explain more about the remaining problems that were faced by General Motors. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Hi, this is Srinu. I am here to talk about the main foreign competitions of General Motors in the market. The main competitors of General Motors are Toyota, Ford and Honda. When we look at the market shares, the main competitor of General Motors is Toyota and it captures the major market share of about 45%, and Ford having 15% and General Motors with a market share of 14%, and the rest of the market shares is held by other companies. While we look at the revenue of Toyota, it had made a revenue of 38% and the General Motors is the second position with a revenue of 22% and Ford is only made a revenue of 19%. The net income of each company, it shows that General Motors had only made a 5% of net income while Toyota had 13% and Ford stands first with 25%, which is higher than both General Motors and Toyota. From this, it's very clear that the expense which incurred by General Motors is very high. When we look at gross margin of all companies are making almost same percentage of gross margin. Business strategy. Business strategy is a very important thing for the success of each and every organization. But here, General Motors had a poor business strategy. As a result, General Motors failed to attain the organizational goal. When we look at every successful organization, there should be a proper communication and coordination between the employee and management. But here, General Motors, it has a very poor communication channel. Decision making is the key factor for each and every organization, but in General Motors, it has a centralized structure, so it takes a long time for the decision making. Increase in wastage. In our research, we came to know General Motors had spent a lot of money in operations, which includes production and day-to-day operational expenses. In addition to theory, according to the George Luftman Edwin Lee, strategic decisions are those decisions that are concerned with the entire environment in which the firm operates, the whole of the resources and people who constitute the company and the interface between two. Thank you. Now I call upon my colleague Ellen. He will explain more.
Thank you, Sri. This is Alan. Now I am going to look at the main aim of the project. Aim. The aim of the project is to identify the cause of globalization problem faced by the General Motors by conducting qualitative methods in order to bring back the General Motors brand image and market value. Objectives. The main objectives of our research are to analyze the factors of globalization which affects the growth of the company, to recognize the reasons behind incapability of the management which led to the poor business strategy in General Motors, to identify the inefficiency in organization structure of General Motors, then to critically evaluate the economic issues that affected the company. The area in which we are mainly focusing in our research is why General Motors intend to shift power from so-called fiefdom to global functional heads. I'm going to explain the methodology which we are going to implement while doing the research as a group. Here, we selected the qualitative research method. Qualitative research is a type of scientific research. It seeks answers to questions systematically. It uses a predefined set of procedures to answer the question, collect evidence, and produce findings that were not determined in advance, and they are applicable beyond the immediate boundaries of the study. Next, we look at the two different methods of collecting data. First is primary data and second is the secondary data. Under primary data, we collect information through in-depth interviews and observations. In secondary data, we collect information through the critical evaluation of documents. The documents include the financial statements, sales reports, and the cash flow statements of the company. Let's discuss how we are going to analyze the data collected. Once all the data collected, it would be analyzed. Let's come to the first step, data entry and storage. In this step, the data we have got from the interviews and observational notes is transcribed into word processing documents. The next is encoding. In this process, we carefully read the transcribed data line by line and divide the data into meaningful analytical units. Interpretation of data. The encoded data would be used for interpretation, examining the reliability. In this step, we check the accuracy of the data we collected. Finally, the final report will be presented in a descriptive form, which clear an extensive understanding of the problem, and it will focus on the key aspects of the issue, and at the end, the research will be presented to the client with a research-based approach. Now, I call my colleague Vishnu to talk more about the project plan and its cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Hi, I am Vishnu. I am here to give a brief outline about the cost that will incur for our research. Let's start with the initial stage of the research, that is primary research. The cost for the primary research is estimated to be $2,500. Next is secondary research. The cost that will be incurred for the secondary research is $2,000. And the next step is data analysis, and the cost estimated is to $2,750. This is an expensive step in this research process. The next is project report. It costs around $2,000 and the other expense costs around $750. Finally, the total estimate cost of our desired project is $10,000. I'm going to talk about the project plan. We are planning to do this project within 2 months, that is from December 2012 to January 2013. Then we classify the total 2 months in 8 weeks of period. In week 1 and week 2, we decide to do primary research, which will take around 15 days. Out of this, we give 10 days for conducting the interviews and 5 days for observations. In week 3 and week 4, we plan to do the secondary research within 10 days. These may include interpretation of finance statement and evaluation of income statement. In week 5 and week 6, we plan to do the data analysis within 20 days, because it may include the process like data entry, storage, encoding, and interpretation of data. And finally, in week 7 and week 8, we will hand over the final presentation to the company. Thank you.